Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. It's your host with the most. It's your boy, Young Lord Marco the Kel from the Kel's Lounge. And today, do I have a treat for you, a treat for me? Another game plant review. If my reviews interest you, or you would still like to find out more, there's a link to my playthrough in the description. And as always, if there's any other games that you may have an interest in, come on through, because there might be a game that I've reviewed. Without further ado, today's game is a casual puzzle game developed by the creator of One More Dungeon, Stately Snail. Ported over to the console from the Spanish company Retalaika Games. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I've just done my own playthrough. As mentioned, the link is in the description. The game uses 3D graphics to help aid in the functionality and depth of puzzles. In total, there are 36 puzzles which range from rotating dials to sliders. The game also supported by beautiful background noise of thunder and rain, which serves to help its relaxing and casual feel. However, I will mention you will need to turn the volume down because it is deafening to begin with until you get it down to whatever feels right for you. The game starts off easy, with the user only having to flip 4 switches, and a nice steady progression becomes harder and harder. Even though I would like to consider the fact logic puzzle games are what I'm most skilled at, there were certainly a few I wouldn't have gotten without the help of a guide, which shows that although it can be considered easy, there is certainly an aspect of difficulty to it if one was to not use a guide. The guide I used was Bad Driver, and the link to that will be in the description as well as a playthrough. Let's talk about positives and overall what I enjoyed in my time playing the game. First thing I would like to talk about is the visuals. The stunning 3D design. The ability to rotate puzzles around allows for an increased complexity to each puzzle, which can be both challenging and enjoying. Next is the ambient sounds, aka the rain and the thunder, as mentioned. It produces, I would like to say, a real calming effect, almost comparatively or in comparison to that ASMR a person might use to go to sleep to. A positive on the game I'd like to touch on is the pricing. To start with, when I bought the game, it was on sale, and the price of 39 pence, which is around 50 cents for the Americans, and was an offer for 90%, so at full price the game would be £4, which is about $5. Due to it being a small, easy game, and the sound and graphics, I certainly think that the under £5 price point certainly fits the game, especially to the fellow Platinum Hunter. The game, if purchased for the PS4, will also be playable on the Vita as well, which we will touch on. Which leads me into my next positive, the Platinum Trophy. The Platinum Trophy can be done in one go. Even if you miss the 5 missables, short circuit, I have tried. It was hard. One more time, and turn on/off. Due to level select, one could easily go back to any of the respective levels and complete them. As a plat review, as it's an easy and enjoyable duo stack platinum with the PS4 and Vita, that is cheap, because anyone who platinum hunts know that a lot of cheap games, you're either going to have it on the spectrum of it's got no platinum, or the platinum's near impossible, or it's very easy. It's on the borderline of very easy but enjoyable. And with the use of a guide, it can be done in around 30 minutes, or if you're on your own, it can take upwards of an hour and a half. Earning it, in my opinion, a nice 6 out of 10. easy, fast, cheap, and can be done by anyone. But however, I must go on to the negatives now, and there are certainly less negatives than positives. To begin with is the length of the game. For the objectivity, the game certainly meets a good criteria on how long it should be. However, my preferred time in the game and in the amount of puzzles that could have been added certainly takes it down a few notches. As mentioned, the game's about 30 minutes with a guide, maybe an hour and a half, but there's certainly, especially with the 3D modelling and the rotisserie actions, certainly a lot more puzzles and different puzzles that could have been added and worked with. However, certainly works, so I won't knock it too much. To further adapt on that, in my opinion, the game has little replayability. This game certainly feels like one of those where you sit there for an hour to relax and just enjoy your time. However, once you've finished the first playthrough, once you've done all your first 36 levels, I say first 36, once you've done all the 36 levels, there is little incentive to play the levels again. There is no Easter eggs, there is nothing like that, at least from what I saw. Maybe there is, but the only reason I'd see a person replaying the game is to either get the platinum or speedrun it, because it certainly is speedrunnable. The judgment here, however, and I will say this, I'm comparing it to my experience with Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, where there's certainly more levels and more complexity, and it's a cooperative feeling. Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, where this is a solo, so it's a bit hard to judge it too harshly from my experiences there. Some further reviews that I believe are important to mention is that it's very hands-off. Other than the very basic controls at the beginning, the game gives you very little hints how to complete the levels outside of what is actually required to beat the levels. And the reason I place this here and not in either the positive or the negative is that it's really too varied from person to person based off their own opinions. So I may enjoy the hands-off approach, which I do because it engages my brain more. Silly, who you've seen on the channel before, I'm not saying this is opinion, but he may enjoy it with hints where if he does get stuck, he doesn't have to rely on a guide. He can use the game's information to help getting past that brick wall, so to speak. So those are my thoughts coming straight after beating the game. My overall rating of the game is a 7 out of 10. Although the negatives are pretty damning, I believe that they are dimmed down by the fact that it's a single time game, and it's a overall very enjoyable game. What I mean by this is that it's not trying to be something you can replay over and over and over again, like Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. So that's why I think that the negatives I have mentioned can actually be, I don't want to say ignored, but the credibility can be taken back a few. Other than that, please like and subscribe, and let me know your opinions in the comment section. And remember, you can check out the playthrough in the description. As always, it's been your host with the most. It's been your boy, Young Lord Marco, Marco the Kettle, here at the Kettle's Lounge. I hope you all have a good week, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.